Hi, welcome to Caribou Country Lifestyle. Today I am going to be making jalapeno, actually it's Cowboy candy that you make with jalapenos. So I only had a pound of jalapenos from my garden, and the recipe actually calls for 3 pounds, which will get you 9 half pints, your 250 ml jars. So I ended up going and purchasing another 2 pounds of jalapenos because a pound is only going to get me 3 little jars, and that's not enough. I definitely want more. My son has said that he would like some too, but he'd be lucky if he gets 1 jar. So I've stemmed these jalapenos, just sliced the tops off of them, and now I'm going to slice them up into 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch slices. Once I've sliced all of these up, I'm going to put them back into the bowl, and then we'll move on to the next step. So I'm almost finished slicing up my jalapenos. It hasn't been too bad. I found that the bigger ones that I bought, the slices are definitely larger. But these smaller ones are definitely, you can tell which are the fresher ones. The ones that I had picked from the garden are definitely seem crisp and fresh. So I'm just finishing up slicing these last little couple of jalapenos, and then I'm just putting them into these bowls, and I set them aside because then I'm going to make the brine that they're going to be going into, and we will talk about that once I get the last of these sliced up. So I've decided that next year I'm going to probably start about 12 jalapenos, because you never know once you get them planted in the garden if they're even going to do okay, if they, who knows. I've planted plants. I planted cucumber plants this year, and they didn't make it, so I ended up having to buy cucumber plants. Last year I planted jalapeno pepper plants, and they didn't make it, and I had to buy jalapeno pepper plants. So you just never know how many plants you're going to end up when all was said and done in the end. This year I only planted 3 jalapeno plants, and all 3 of them did very well, but I didn't get enough to be able to do something like this. So I'm thinking if I start 12 of the jalapeno plants, and then we'll see what I can get. I'm just going to dump the last of these pepper seeds into my garbage. I'm trying not to drop any of these seeds on the floor because I do not want my dog ingesting any of these seeds, because that could be very painful on your puppy. So be very careful about where you're pushing your seeds off to. Don't just throw them off on the ground, on the floor, and definitely wear the gloves, because I don't know if you've ever done jalapenos before and you've not worn your gloves, and then it doesn't matter how many times you wash your hands, that jalapeno from the inside of the jalapeno where you have to de-seed them and take the white center out, that stuff gets under your nails, and it doesn't matter how much you wash it. The next thing you know, you're rubbing your eyes and your eyes are burning. I've got my stainless steel pot set up, and I need to put in 2 cups of cider vinegar. A little bit here, and then I have a new one. I just get this cider vinegar from Costco. It's an organic apple cider vinegar. It doesn't have to be organic. That's just what Costco has. I'm just going to give this a shake because On the bottom of your apple cider vinegar, there'll be, it's like a sediment. So I need 2 cups. Of the apple cider vinegar. I'll just put that in my pot. 6 cups of sugar. These are just, this is just a 1/2 cup measure, so I'm going to need 12 of these. So 1, 2, 12. And that's just a regular white sugar, granulated sugar. I need 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric. This is a teaspoon, so I'll just do 1/2. I need 1/2 teaspoon of celery seed. And 3 teaspoons of granulated garlic. And I do not think I have enough of the garlic, but I will just use what I have. 1, 2, oh, not quite enough. 2.5. Oh well. I don't have any more garlic, so there's not too much I can do about that. Hopefully it'll turn out. And a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. So, turn that on there. Get my So I'm going to bring this to a boil. So this has started to come to a boil now, and then I'm going to turn it down and let it simmer for 5 minutes. So while it's simmering, I am going to get my jars ready. It says 9 of the 1/2 pints, the 250 ml jars. I'm going to make sure I have 11 just in case, because I did have just slightly over 3 pounds, so I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to get 9 of the 250 ml jars. I might get 10. We'll just have to wait and see. This has simmered now for 5 minutes. Now I'm going to add my jalapeno slices in. I'll just get this so it's all combined. Some strong smelling jalapenos. Okay. Getting this all in this brine. And once I get it mixed in here really good, then it simmers. Let's take a look. Pretty sure it said to simmer So I'm add the pepper slices and simmer for exactly 4 minutes. So I'll just get this finished mixing in. Make sure that they're all kind of in the brine, like a brine syrup, I guess you would call it. And then I'm going to set my timer for 4 minutes. Now I'm ready to transfer these jalapeno slices into my jars, and I'm going to use a slotted spoon for that. That has been what has been recommended. So I'm going to grab one of my jars, and I've had them in hot water to have them ready. I've got my little canning funnel, and I'm just going to fill up these jars with these jalapeno slices. Put a couple more in there, and then I'm going to put these onto a cookie sheet. So once I've filled it, then I'm going to put the jar over here on the cookie sheet. Grab another jar and fill it up so you can see. Push this down a little bit more. Add that one. So I've got all my jars are filled with the jalapeno slices. I have to turn my heat back on. I'm going to move this over because I have to turn this on quite high. And I have to bring it to a full boil. And I'm going to let this boil on a hard boil, it says, for 6 minutes. And then I'm going to ladle that syrup over these jalapeno slices, and we'll move on from there. So I'm going to get this to a hard boil again. Get all this seasonings off the side of my pot. Get it into the syrup. And then boil this hard for 6 minutes. This is exciting. I can't wait to see how this turns out. This is, we have a natural gas stove, and the heat on it is high. So even when it said to simmer, I had it on low and it was still boiling pretty hot. So I actually moved this pot to the back burner and put it on the back burner on low, and then it wasn't boiling. The back burner's quite a bit smaller, so then at least it wasn't boiling so hard. Less than a minute for the syrup to finish boiling, because I have my timer on, and we have about 50 seconds left. Then we're going to turn the heat off, and we're going to ladle this syrup, brine syrup, over top of these jalapeno slices. I'm going to turn this off, bring these jars in a little bit closer, and I'm going to grab my metal ladle, and I will just pour this over the jalapeno slices very carefully. is actually not a very hard recipe to make, really. It's just making sure you have all the ingredients before you even get started. That's the number one thing. You want to make sure that you have everything. Almost got them covered here. And then I have a chopstick here as well. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to just move some of the peppers around after I'm done filling up these jars. And make sure that there are no air pockets in amongst the peppers before I process them. They said you could can the brine as well, but I don't think I'm going to worry about canning any of the brine. Okay, so I'm going to move this pot out of the way. I'm going to use oven mitts because I don't want to burn my hands again. So I'll get this out of the way. I'm just going to go through and make sure there are no air pockets. I'm just going down the sides of the jars just to make sure. And then I'm going to just grab a piece of paper towel. And I'm going to dampen the edge and wipe around the rings. Just so that it's not sticky. Because I want to make sure there's a good seal with the lids onto the jars. And if it's sticky, then it's probably not going to seal. Okay, and then I'm going to grab my lids. Grab a lid and a ring. And I'll just put these on. After they're done processing, okay, water bath canner. Yes, 10 minutes for this size of jar, 15 minutes for the pint. So that's what we're going to do next. So here we go, the end product. All of it is, I've got it all canned, and I just have it on this cooling rack that I have for canning. Used to be my mom's, and I inherited it, and I love this. So I got 10 of the half pints, 250 ml jars. They look great, and hopefully they taste just as good as the one that I had given to me from my friend. I mean, it's the same recipe, so how could it possibly go wrong? Anyways, thanks for joining me, and we'll talk again soon. Bye for now.